to get started, tell us a little bit about yourself and your farm.
So, my husband and I, we own and operate PrairiErth Farm, which is in central Illinois, right in the middle of the state. And this is our 12th year of raising vegetables and our second year of growing corn, soybeans, oats, wheat, the grains. Um, it's a family farm that's been in the family for decades, and we just took over the whole operation last year. So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of crazy timing to do that. So the vegetable side of the operation is about 35 acres, and then the grains is a few hundred. And then we have some cattle, some beef cows that we are slowly taking over. So we have a lot on our plate right now, but we absolutely love what we do. We both worked full time, and we're just so miserable being in a cubicle with the corporate culture. So
Yeah.
it's a job, but it's definitely a passion.
Yeah. It's interesting. So it's you that is taking over this land, not your partner and you, or is
Oh
it?
no, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's my husband's land. It's his
Oh,
family land. Yeah, no. So he's definitely the one. Yeah, he's definitely the one that's inheriting it.
mhm.
And he's taking over the grain operation. I won't be very active with that part of it.
Yeah. So either than that, you pretty much have
Yeah.
um, equal rights into, what you're doing with your land right now.
Yeah, we are a perfect partnership. My husband and I. He's very mechanically inclined, and so he's great at building things and working on the equipment, and he's great with the production side. Whereas I'm definitely more on the business and marketing side. So we have this, and neither of us are good at what the other person is good at. So it's a wonderful partnership.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
it's hard to farm with your spouse, but it's also when it works like ours does, where we both have significant pieces of the puzzle, then it works most of the time.
That's awesome. No, that's really good to hear because just like thinking about all the farmland that's being turned over to the next generation and like people educating themselves and partnerships and, equality amongst, gender or, race or ethnicity. It's so important to, have all those factors put together so that you can properly, utilize the land that you're given. So I think that's really awesome that you have such a great partnership, and it sounds like you have such a big operation too. So
Yeah. I mean, it's gotten to that point. I always joke around. We've grown so much because my husband just wants to buy more equipment. So
yeah.
you have to have land to justify some of the pieces of equipment he wants to get, like a potato harvester or whatever. So that's why we've grown. But honestly, there's just a need here in Central Illinois, and we have barely even tapped into that need on our farm. And so there's just endless opportunities, and we just keep growing to meet those.
So who do you work with then? And like who do you, sell your goods to, your produce to? What is your market like and where you're located at?
Yeah, it's very diverse. I mean, it's as diverse as the vegetables that we grow. I mean, we grow pretty much everything we can grow in Central Illinois, except for peas, because nobody wants to pick peas, so we don't grow peas. But so we have a CSA program, both a summer and a winter program. So our CSA can run pretty much through February. For Central Illinois, that's great. And then we sell to a farmer's market, one market a year, and it is also in the winter.
Mhm.
Then we have a lot extensive wholesale customers. So pretty much 50 to 60% of our revenue is wholesale. And within that wholesale bucket is restaurants, cooperative grocery stores, and then larger guys like Whole Foods, and then a lot of third-party distributors of different types. Some would be small guys that are reboxing to provide CSA programs in the city, and some are like larger distributors that are reselling that product to stores like Whole Foods and other places like that. So it's extremely diverse. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that brings me, to to the question and to the need of why I'm doing this interview is, how sharing as much as you're comfortable, how has the coronavirus been impacting your farm and your livelihood and your partnership?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so odd because the demand for local food has blown up down here. I mean,
Wow.
any product that I have, I can sell. It doesn't matter what it is right now, including plants. We had somebody want to buy 6 of our cows just right off the farm. I mean, it's
Wow.
pretty, yeah, it's pretty intense, the demand. So that's a plus. And I
Yeah.
think that's happening in a lot of different places. People are really starting to value knowing where their food comes from and having access to that food in a safe environment where you're just buying it direct from the farmer instead of having to go to the store. So there's wonderful opportunities. Our CSA has doubled, which is amazing. And we have a waiting list, and we have never had this situation before. So in that area, it's wonderful. But our farmers markets have been impacted. The one in March was canceled. And for the rest of May, our governor just extended our stay-at-home order through May, and so all the May markets will not be happening. And obviously, all of our restaurant accounts are pretty much done for now. So we have lost a substantial amount of revenue. I'm thankful that this happened in March and April instead of August and September, when we would have had a lot more produce to sell and not been able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's definitely impacted our sales somewhat. That being said, I think the biggest struggle isn't necessarily sales, whether we have them or we don't. It's more about being able to have the energy and time and resources to pivot to online sales, which is what everything's going towards, or home delivery, which is what's being required. Those types of situations, or just creating safe environments for our employees to work in. Those types of modifications can be expensive and stressful. There's really a huge learning curve to a lot of this. We spent all winter making plans for the season and how we were going to do things, and all that time feels wasted. And now in the part of the season when we need to be focusing so much on planting and training our team, we're focusing on, well, what are we going to do? What's plan B, what's plan C, what's plan Z, what's going to happen if we all get sick and we have to shut the farm down? How can we make the CSA safe? So that is taking a tremendous amount of time away from the field work that needs to be done. So that's a huge challenge. And then just our employees, we've had quite a few that aren't working. And so we have continued to pay them. We don't actually have to do that. We're small enough that we don't have to pay them, but we want to pay them. Thank God no one has been sick. It's just been staying at home to either care for their kids or have a higher risk family member that they want to stay quarantined for that family member. Yeah. And of course we understand that, and their jobs are here when they're ready to come back. But at the same time, we're limited on how much we can pay them at this time in the season when there's not a lot of revenue coming in anyway. Cash flow is light. So we applied for the PPP loan to help with that, and not been funded. We're hopeful that with the second round of funding, we will, because we feel like we've kind of kept up our end of the bargain. We keep people employed. We're paying them when they can't work. Yeah. And now, we're hoping that the federal government can kind of keep up their end and help us with that. So,
how many employees do you hire during this season?
So full-time farm employees are 15. But then we have a few part-timers that help us at the market or at our CSA pickups. So that it can be anywhere between 15 to 18 employees. Yeah. Plus my husband and I obviously are full-time too.
Wow. So it's quite the farming operation, it seems. And it does sound like, you've had a lot of impact on, making sure that you can get up to speed on everything and trying to plan for, I think that's like the scariest thing about all of this, uncertainty and the unknowing of how long this is going to last and how long this is going to go into the off season or into the prime season for you. Thinking ahead, I guess, like, comparing this year to a normal year, I know that the weather's been really good. So that's great, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I guess like, comparing this to a normal year, is this thrown you to a 180, or I guess how are you handling this personally?
Yeah. Well, so the crop plan is completely changed. A lot of our restaurants that we would sell to, what they want us to grow for them isn't necessarily what we would give to a CSA or to a farmer's market. They may
Mhm.
want like spruce tips and more interesting culinary items that my retail customers aren't necessarily interested in. So we've kind of had to shift a little bit about that. We grow a tremendous amount of kale for juicing companies, and those juicing companies can't commit to buying the kale, but the kale's already been started and planted in some cases. And
Yeah.
so there is that uncertainty. We don't know if this is going to get back to normal, what normal is going to look like in a few months when that kale was ready to be harvested. We're not sure. That being said, on the plus side, the retail demand is so high that I'm hopeful that we can, maybe it won't be spruce tips,
Yeah.
but we can move it, we can move the kale, more locally.
Mhm.
Um, we're working with a distributor who he works, it's almost like a cooperative of farmers, and sends the product up to Chicago, and almost 100% of that with restaurants, high-end restaurants in Chicago. So many of them aren't open now. But the restaurants have also started to pivot and offer like little grocery stores in their restaurants to
Yeah.
help serve the Chicago customers that need access to food. And so those sales have been continuing to grow.
Mhm.
But it's a lot harder to pack 100, 2-pound bags of carrots than it is just to pack a case of 25 pounds of carrots. If you understand, like the efficiency has slowed down so much on a farm when we're not selling wholesale, we're more selling retail. And so that has forced us to hire some extra people, which is great that we can hire more people. But again, we have to make up for that lost efficiency,
Yeah.
financially. So.
So do you think you'll come out of this okay? Or, like how can people support you through this time? Or have they already been?
I Yeah.
I got your contact information from Liz Stelk, and she's with the Illinois Stewardship Alliance. And I know her organization has been working in Illinois with direct market farmers, and creating a network, an online network, so that communities can find access to food. So, I think that's like one way that a lot of organizations have been helping, but how can people help you? I
Yeah.
guess my
Well,
question.
yeah. So Illinois Stewardship Alliance has been wonderful. Fair Share in Wisconsin has been having weekly Zoom meetings discussing all different types of things. Just yesterday, we talked about um, different types of software programs that we can use to sell direct to our consumers or change the way our CSA is. So that type of education from those local food supporting organizations is vital, because we're all just kind of numb and lost and not sure which direction to go. So that is very helpful. That being said, I don't think that farms, especially our size farms, or smaller farms, are being supported financially through the PPP program or through other types of assistance programs. So the American Farmland Trust grant program is fantastic. And it's those types of grant programs that can help us put more money towards the software programs that we need for these types of customer retail facing relationships that we're now being forced to move to, or to help supplement our income while we're paying other people who might not be able to work. So
Mm-hmm.
um, it sounds simple that money is the answer to everything, but truthfully, it's these types of grant programs that are going to help us pull through this. I believe the education and support. There's a huge need for mental health support for farmers during
Yeah.
this program. Pretty
Mm-hmm.
much everyone, actually. I don't I
Yeah.
don't think anyone is excluded from that, but farmers are already dealing with an extremely stressful environment. You know, I always joke that it's absolutely insane to share a business with your spouse and that business is completely dependent on nature. I mean, why would you do that to yourself? You're going to be stressed out all the time. And now you add in, the pandemic, and it's adding considerable amount of stress to relationships, to individuals. And so access to affordable mental health care is something I think is really important for farmers right now.
if there's one light at the end of this tunnel, is that mental health awareness and getting, assistance and therapy is accepted.
The Zoom call that I did yesterday with a bunch of farmers through Fair Share was so reassuring to see that there are so many other farmers just like me that are dealing with the same things, and we can share ideas. And we have little chats going, shared text messages, and this curbside market is a nightmare. What are we doing? Or what are you guys doing for tablecloths? And that type of connection and networking has been amazing. I can't imagine doing this by myself, let alone without my spouse,
Yeah,
to talk to about everything, but without a network of other farmers to talk with. So that's been wonderful.
that's awesome. That's really cool. I'm so glad that that's happening, and thankful for technology. Well, I guess with that, I'm really happy that we got to talk today, and I wish you the best, and giving you all my strength to get through this and be productive as much as you can while still remaining sane.
Right. I'm optimistic though, April. I really, really am. I think there are large farms right now, commodity farms or large produce farms that are only, that were set up to sell to institutions, and they are struggling. And I don't want to say that this is a wonderful time for farmers, because it's not in so many different ways, whether you're a dairy farmer or commodity farmer, but there is this incredible awareness and interest in local food. And I see it everywhere. There is not a farm that has a CSA that I know of that isn't saying that they're filling up faster than they ever thought they could. There is this demand, and I'm hopeful that it will carry through. We're really getting a lot of people introduced to local food and why it's so great. And so I think that if we can make it through the next few months, it's going to change the way we eat. And that's my hope.